Seafan Sports, sports show that's dedicated to Seattle sports fans. My name is Dave. This is Kevin, and you are now experiencing Mariner Weekly. Before we jump on into Mariner Weekly, make sure that you guys subscribe if you're new here. If you've been here before and you haven't subscribed, now is the time, because pretty soon this lockout will be over. Pitchers and catchers will report, and we'll be on our way to a fantastic Seattle Mariners season. Also, make sure that you turn on those notification bells, so when we do put on new content, you guys are getting it fresh out of the oven. Also, if you're liking what we're putting out there, make sure you give us thumbs up. If you're not really digging it, man, give us that thumbs down. It's up to you. We're not mean people. Not today. And make sure you guys leave comments in the comment section down below, because we answer them. We want to hear what you guys, the Seafan Nation, is thinking. All right, Kevin. You know, Kevin, when I'm at a little heartburn right here after a king dog, take me a little Pepto-Bismol for a little relief to ease that pain. And when we have this week is we're talking about our bullpen, the relief pitchers for your Seattle Mariners. The boys that right now most people are projecting are going to be another strength for this Seattle Mariner team in 2022. Kevin, let's start with Paul Seawall, because that man was downright filthy last year.
I actually want to let the fans know, I think these guys are going to be better than last year.
Better?
We had two guys that didn't even pitch last year that are going to be pitching this year. And when we talk about their fastball, their four-seam fastball, and the average speed on that four-seam fastball, you'll understand what I'm talking about.
They might get a little excited.
I am excited.
All right.
So let's talk about Paul Seawald. He ended up pitching 64 innings last year, 24 walks, 104 strikeouts.
He was nails.
He was a strikeout machine.
Yeah.
Gave up 10 home runs. You know, what I really liked about him is he had a 5.8 hits per nine, which I thought was kind of high, 1.4 home runs per nine, 3.3 walks per nine, and a 14.5 strikeout per nine. He had a 3.06 ERA. He actually has the lowest average fastball of anybody in our bullpen. It is at 92 miles an hour on his four-seam fastball. He's got a slider at 82 miles an hour and a changeup at 70. He had 11 saves, 5 blown out of 16, and he ended up with 16 holds for the year.
Can I ask you a quick question? Yeah. When you say per nine, does that mean per 9 innings or per 9,
Per 9 innings, yeah.
Per 9 innings, okay. So, yeah, okay. I apologize. Carry on, sir.
No, he had a 1.6 WAR, and I just thought that he outstanding performance for the year. Outstanding. I think he wore down towards the end of the year, in my opinion, and some of those home runs and blown saves came at inopportune times, but throughout the whole year, he was just absolutely solid.
All right, Kevin, the next guy I thought that played well, very well last year was Drew Steckenrider. What do we see from Drew last year?
Well, Drew pitched 67.2 innings, and I think that was the highest of anybody in our bullpen last year. Out of 67 innings, he only walked 5 guys. Wow. Unbelievable. He had 14 strikeouts and 6 home runs. So he wasn't really a strikeout thrower. He did have a 2.0 ERA, which was outstanding, had a 2.5 WAR. He gave up 6.9 home runs per 9, 0.7 home runs per 9, 3.1 walks per 9, and 8.8 strikeouts per 9. And he had a ground ball rate of 38.3. This guy ended up with 14 saves, 3 blown saves, and 7 holds. The one thing I will mention about Drew is he pitched to contact, though. I mean, he didn't really strike out a ton, didn't walk a ton, but boy, was he just outstanding. Just a solid pitcher. He had a 94 mile an hour four seam fastball, an 88 average changeup, and an 81 average fastball or average slider.
So he just kept the ball in play, and our infield and outfield were able to knock him down. All right.
Yeah.
All right, Kevin. The next one is Casey Sadler. Tell us a little bit about Casey.
Well, Casey had a 2.1 WAR. He pitched 40.1 innings, 10 walks, 37 Ks, and only one home run. As we all know, Casey just was electric last year, and he broke a Mariners record for the longest innings without a hit. He ended up with a 0.67 ERA,
Wow.
4.2 hits per nine, 0.2 home runs per nine, 2.2 walks per nine, and an 8.3 strikeouts per nine. The one thing which I found very interesting with him, he had a 63.9 ground ball percentage on his hits. He was throwing and they were hitting it on the ground. He had 16 holds, no saves, no blown saves, but boy, we see outstanding. He has a 94 mile an hour fastball, 93 mile an hour slider, an 88 mile an hour cutter, and an 80 mile an hour curveball. He has 4 solid pitches, and I think
a lot of pitches in his repertoire.
He was just in my opinion, he was the outstanding pitcher of the year.
All right, Kevin, the next one is going to be Anthony Misaevic. Kevin can't say Misaevic, so he calls him McSandwich. So if you guys hear that, and it's nails on a chalkboard to you like it is me, I'll just be saying his last name.
I'm not even going to say anything. So Anthony pitched 54.2 innings last year, 15 walks, 53 strikeouts, 7 home runs. He had a 4.61 ERA. He had a 1.2 home runs per nine, 10 hits per nine, 2.5 walks per nine, 8.7 strikeouts per nine. He struggled, even though he played a lot. He was the only left-handed pitcher, and that is the one position that I think we might look to improve if our add to. He gave up 5 blown saves out of 5 opportunities, and he had 17 holds though. And
okay,
he does have a 94 mile an hour fastball, an 89 cutter, and an 81 curveball.
All right, well, that takes us to our midseason acquisition and Diego Castillo that we got from the Tampa Bay Rays. Tell us a little bit about him, Kevin.
Well, after we got him from the Rays, so with Seattle, he pitched 22 innings, 7 walks, 26 strikeouts, and 4 home runs. He basically had a 2.86 ERA, a 1.1 WAR, 5.7 hits per nine, 1.9 home run per nine, 2.9 walks per nine, and a 10.6 strikeouts per nine. He had 4 blown saves in Seattle out of 6 opportunities.
Not good.
He struggled with the home run, giving up saves, and that was his issue. He averages 96 mile an hour on his fastball, a 95 mile an hour sinker, and an 87 mile an hour slider. He does have a 54.9% ground ball percentage out. I don't know what happened at the very end, but I think he also got worn out and gave up more home runs towards the end of the year. I think there was a couple of pitchers that were a little bit exhausted by the end of the year.
All right, let's move on to my one of my favorites, Eric Swanson, Swanee Pops.
Yep. Eric pitched 35 innings. He had 10 walks, 35 strikeouts, and 5 home runs. He had a 3.31 ERA, 7.1 hits per nine, 1.3 home runs per nine, 2.5 walks per nine, and an 8.9 strikeouts per nine. He actually had 2 blown saves out of 3 opportunities and 5 holds. He has a 95 mile an hour four-seamer, an 86 mile an hour slider, and an 84 mile an hour splitter.
All right, Kevin, let's move on to some of the guys that we didn't see last year because they were on the injured reserve list. Let's start with Andres Munoz first.
Well, these are the 2 guys that we're going to talk about that weren't on the team last year that are absolutely electric. And I think these 2 guys are going to be our closers next year. And unbelievable stuff. In 2019, when he was playing for the Padres, He had a 3.91 ERA, 23 innings pitched. He had 11 walks, 2 home runs, and 30 strikeouts. He averages 99 miles an hour on his fastball. It used to be 100. It's now down to 99. He has a slider at 82 miles an hour. He averaged 6.3 hits per 9, 0.8 home runs per 9, 4.3 walks per 9, and an 11.7 strikeouts per 9. This kid is going, and he's young, really, really young. He's going to be electric.
All right. Our last guy that in our bullpen is going to be Ken Giles. Kevin, where are we at with Ken?
Well, we signed Ken to a 2-year contract last year, knowing that he needed Tommy John, that he underwent Tommy John surgery, and so he's going to be a year and a half out. We got him for 1 year. In 2019, he had a 1.87 ERA. He pitched 53 innings, 17 walks, 5 home runs, 83 strikeouts. He has a 6.1 hits per 9, 0.8 home runs per 9, 2.9 walks per 9, 14.1 strikeouts per 9. Unbelievable. He has a 97 mile an hour average fastball and an 84 mile an hour slider.
Do you see us having Sheffield and or Dunn in the bullpen throughout the year, sprinkled in to give relief so we don't burn these guys out as much?
I really don't know. To be honest with you, I mean, there's some other players out there that are quality, but typically we start the year out with maybe one extra bullpen guy, but towards the end of the year, we kind of shrink that down. It depends on what happens with the team, how many super utility guys we need to keep around, how many outfielders we need.
Super utility.
Well, I mean, that's what we were talking about between Abraham Toro or Adam Frazier. One of those two guys.
Moore.
Well, Dylan Moore, I don't even know if he's going to make the team next year, to be honest with you. And then, we could have 5 outfielders. So, I mean, we know we got Ken. Is he going to be able to play the field? Are we going to get, Suzuki or, Conforto? I mean, I don't know if we're going to get either one of those guys, but if we add another outfielder, we could have 5 outfielders. So,
wow.
Because we both agree, and we all know that one Julio Rodriguez will be with the Mariners next year.
At some point. Yeah, absolutely. So, Kevin, let me ask you this. So right now, you think the only thing that we will do in the free agent market is maybe target a left-handed arm to come into the bullpen? Is that what you're thinking?
I think we need a quality left-handed arm, unless we got one in our system, and I don't see one yet. We might take somebody else and put him into the bullpen that's a lefty and try to see what we can get out of him. But I think that's the one area of weakness that we have in our bullpen.
All right, Kevin, man, I'm telling you, getting more and more amped for the season coming up. Hope that the millionaires and billionaires can come to an agreement and we can look forward to pitchers and catchers reporting. So that's kind of been our breakdown of the bullpen coming up this year. If you guys have any questions or have anything that you think we missed as far as bullpen, make sure you drop it in the comments section down below. Unless you have any further words, Kevin, I think we only have a couple words for them.
No, I was just going to say that, let us know if we're missing somebody, or maybe there's a left-hander out there that we can go after, maybe trade for. So, I'm open to anybody, but right now, these 8 are pretty much going to be our bullpen that I can think of next year. So
looking pretty good.
Last thing I have to say is go Mariners.
Go Mariners. You have a good one, Kev.